3 American things that has changed this Brit's life forever.
So I'm a Brit living in America, and I want to tell you 3 things that I love and make my life so much better living in America that England does not have.
Nobody sits you down before you move to a new country and tells you the truth. They don't warn you about the small stuff. The seasoning, the tumble dryers, the coffee creamer, the things that don't show up in any guidebook, because nobody thinks to mention them until you're standing there, genuinely stunned, wondering how you lived without them. This is what happens when Europeans move to America and nobody warns them what's coming. Let's watch it unfold.
So I'm a Brit living in America, and I want to tell you 3 things that I love and make my life so much better living in America that England does not have. So the first one is tumble dryers. In England, we do not have tumble dryers. I've never had a tumble dryer until now. It's just not a thing. We like to make things hard for ourselves. We just do.
What do you have?
We just wash it, like put it on a washing line in the freaking rain. Okay, so that's number 1. Thoughts?
Wait,
Yeah.
Everything's dried on a line?
Yeah, and then it gets wet because it rains. Okay, number 2. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
I don't know if you have this in Canada. Coffee creamer.
What?
We don't have that in England.
Do you just drink straight dirt?
We just drink milk. Like, we put milk.
No.
Coffee creamer
No.
makes my mornings so much better. I'm so happy.
It's a party in your mouth.
Number 3 is just a funny one, is Venmo. We don't have Venmo.
We don't have Venmo in Canada.
Okay. We don't, like, what do we use, PayPal? Like why are we living in the olden days?
A British-Canadian pair, sitting down to talk about the little things that quietly rewired their entire lives. Let's see what happened when car washes, Venmo, and America's drinking laws entered the picture. A literal alcoholic before she moved. Now, satisfied enough that she barely drinks at all. Nobody warns you that the small conveniences, a dryer, an app, a coffee creamer, can quietly change your entire relationship with your own life. A British couple for 1,000 miles into a 5-week trip across America. Watch out for what they say they'll actually miss the most.
To the other, and I just wanted to share a few things that I'm actually going to really miss about America. So first one being how patriotic it is. Honestly, I couldn't believe how many USA flags we saw, and it was just so lovely how everybody really looks after their servicemen and women and their veterans. There was even like specific parking spaces for veterans, and I just absolutely loved it. And I think the UK could really learn a lot from that, about sharing their own flag absolutely everywhere, and also about looking after the people who have literally fought for their country. Another thing that I'm really going to miss is how friendly everybody was. Spoke to so many nice, really friendly people that we got their like contact details for, and just, yeah, I just felt that everybody was like really warm, really welcoming. We had such a good laugh with people. So Lee told me to add this one on here because he was like, this is a game changer, why doesn't everywhere do this? And to be fair, like, it does make a lot of sense. And it was turning right when it's a red light. Like, this makes so much more sense. Why doesn't everywhere do this? The food. I am really gonna miss American food. I mean, the portions were absolutely huge.
For 1,000 miles, and not one of the negative headlines they'd seen back home actually showed up. Nobody warns you that the version of America on the news and the version you actually drive through can be 2 completely different countries. If you are still watching this and you have not hit subscribe yet, I respect your dedication to being difficult, but hit the button. Every day on this channel, we are pulling back the curtain on what the world really thinks about America. Not what the media says, not what the headlines push. So subscribe, and do not miss what is coming next. A Brit, 4 to 5 years into life in Arkansas. He's not talking about landmarks here. He's talking about a simple drive to his in-laws, and what it did to his brain. Let's see what happened.
America, I really don't think you understand the size comparison between the UK and the US. Back when I lived in the UK, I would only travel about 10 to 15 minutes to go to the supermarket or grocery store. Before I moved to the United States, the largest drive that I would do would be to go to Sheffield Hallam University, which is in South Yorkshire in the UK. It took about an hour to drive there, and that to me was insane. And just for reference, Nottingham to Sheffield, an hour and 3 minutes. However, When I met my girlfriend then, now wife, I wanted to go visit her, so obviously I had to drive all the way down to London Heathrow Airport. And that drive is a staggering 2 hours and 30 minutes. 2 hours and 30 minutes to Heathrow. By far the longest drive I've done in the UK. So I took the whole flight all the way to the US, in 2 flights actually, about 13 hours of flying. I finally arrived at her in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and it was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. She turns around the first weekend and says, let's go visit my parents. And of course, I'm just like, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Just, yeah. Of course, naturally, I ask her, how long's the drive? To which she responds, oh, it's about 3 to 3.5 hours. What do you mean 3.5 hours? 3.5 hours to go drive to see her parents. All the way from Northwest Arkansas to Beebe, Arkansas. Like, what do you mean? That was my first reaction when I came to the States and drove that far and realized, wow, America is absolutely fucking massive. But you see, now that I've lived here for 4 or 5 years, that drive is completely normal. And when I go visit family back in the UK, that drive from Heathrow Airport back to Nottingham is minuscule. It's
3.5 hours, completely normal. Nobody warns you that your entire sense of distance will get rewritten, until the drive that used to feel impossible back home suddenly feels like nothing at all. A Brit, for years into life in Alabama. He hopes he never gets used to it. Nobody warns you that kindness itself might be the one thing you never want to become numb to.
There's one thing they never tell you about the US in the media, in the news, in the places where all the information you hear is how dangerous and divided the US is. Listen, this is the United States of America. We are in Florida, Miami, and look how beautiful this place is. The weather, the palm trees, the skyscrapers, this place has everything. It's clean, it's safe, the people are friendly, and frankly, it's one of the best places in the world to build something, and that's why I came to Miami. Listen, this place out here, yeah, it's a little noisy because they are building stuff, but it's just beautiful.
Clean, safe, friendly. 3 words nobody expects to hear about a place they were told to fear. Nobody asked how many followers she had. They just wanted her to succeed. Nobody warns you that a stranger's belief in you can hit harder than anything you expected to feel on vacation. A French woman, describing what one specific American mindset did for her, personally. Listen closely to what she says next.
There's something I deeply love with the Americans is their mindset of, we don't care, do whatever you want. And it's something that personally is helping me to heal, because when you're used to shrink yourself and you arrive in the US and you discover this space to just be yourself and do whatever you want, it's so refreshing.
Healing, not the word she expected to use about a country she was only visiting. Nobody warns you that the freedom to simply be yourself can feel like something you didn't know you were missing until you finally have it. A man who spent a decade and a half in this country, listing the things he still cannot get over. Watch what 14 years of living here actually did to him.
The amount of love, kindness, support, help, service, and just joy that I've experienced from Americans in my time here in these 14 years has been completely unmatched. People in America are so hospitable. They love to serve others. They're so positive. That's one of the main reasons why I wanted to move to America. In terms of soccer, is just everything is upbeat and everyone is encouraging, and I just needed that at that time. And America epitomizes positivity.
14 years, and it still hasn't worn off. And here's the one that says everything. A woman celebrating the 4th of July as someone who wasn't even born here. Watch what she says about who she's become.
This country made me believe that my life doesn't have to look the way I always thought it should look. I truly believe that America gives people the space to become a version of themselves that they've always wanted to be. That's why I love it. It's not because I dislike England. I just think this country is special in the way that it allows people to show up in the way that they want to. If they want to go hell to leather to make something for themselves, it will allow them the space to do that. If I moved back to England right now, I don't know who I would be. I don't want to be that version of myself anymore. I want to be the American version of myself for the rest of my life.
She does not want to go back to who she used to be. Nobody warns you that moving somewhere new can mean meeting a version of yourself you never even knew existed, and never wanting to let her go. Here is what this video is really about. Nobody warns you about the seasoning, the tumble dryers, the strangers who buy your drinks and hand you a police badge as a gift. Nobody warns you that a 3.5 hour drive will start to feel like nothing or that a neighbor's kindness will follow you home in your memory long after you've left. Nobody warns you that America will quietly hand you a version of yourself you didn't know you were allowed to become. And nobody, absolutely nobody, warns you what happens the day you finally have to leave it behind. Americans, is there something about your everyday life you had no idea would completely surprise someone from another country? And if you've ever moved somewhere new yourself, what's the one thing nobody warned you about?